everybody bitched that he was the wrong player taken. Blake Martinez and whoever else you put back there are never going to develop and do diddly squat, just like I told you. Ray Lewis had a 3-year stretch when Saragusa and the Moose and the other big dude that played next to him left. And everybody said he was done, washed up, was a has-been. And he went and told Newsom in one of his first year, one of those first years where, everybody was like, you're done. I think he was 29 at the time. They go and draft Haloti Ngata. I believe it was 8th or 9th overall. And I believe he went to the Pro Bowl and was second team All-Pro that year and was laughing in everybody's face. Look, and that's my point. Like, you can go ahead and spend, and don't give me Devin Bush. Do you know Stephon Tuitt, Cameron Hayward? Do those names ring a bell? They've got linemen up there so that they had the ability to go get Bush, because guess what? Bush is used to that. Bush has never played it down in his adult football career, and I'm talking that means college after he's turned 18. His adult football career, he's never played where he's had big uglies up in his face punching him in the mouth consistently. Do you know why? Because he played behind Rashawn Gary at Michigan. And Rashawn Gary literally ate three players damn near every play and wreaked havoc in college, so he's been used to it. So he went to a good situation. The middle linebacker thing it's the running back. If you go get Adrian Peterson and you only got one of 5 offensive linemen that can block at all without turning around and saying, look out, by the time you get that offensive line put together, your running back is a has-been. Like, it's a wasted draft. I keep trying to tell people this. Like, their middle linebacker situation, if they're ever going to draft one, is going to happen in like 2021, 2022. And it'll be after they have Kenny Clark is locked up, and they've got all the guys that have proven and showed. Then they'll go attack, and you watch. And I'm just telling you, it's the trend that's been going on. You watch all the people that draft middle linebackers. You look at their defensive line in front of them. There's a reason why they go attack and get that middle linebacker in that round.
So why wouldn't you put them to get a wide receiver in the first round?
I said they would.
I would. With the talent of wide receiver?
With the talent this year, that's definitely – I just have a feeling that the way they go, they've always – since Javon Walker has, pushed them away from the first-round wide receiver, so I just think they're more comfortable with the second-round wide receiver just as an organization, just as the money investment into it and the way it takes a receiver sometimes to develop, unless it's a home run guy like you view him like an OBJ type, which honestly, this draft is full of guys that could potentially be rookie OBJs. Seriously. The potential is there. But anyway, the rabbit hole got away from Monty's question altogether. See what you made me do? Lazard definitely has the ability. He's got the rapport with Aaron Rodgers. He's got the trust. He's got the early short-term production, okay? He's obviously got an understanding. They trust him to put him in packages where he's the lone receiver instead of Devontae Adams. That's telling you something on the goal line. They just don't. That's not like one of those mamby-pamby personnel decisions where LaFleur's on the sideline this is a gotta-have-it moment, 3rd and goal. You know what? Doesn't fucking matter who the hell the receiver is. You know what? You're standing next to me. 13. What's that guy? Is that Lazard? Hey, you be in this package here. That decision is made based on, trust, production and practice, ability to, do the right thing, execute, all that stuff. So I think I would answer that yes, but not immediately into next year until I can answer that after the draft. But I think he's already shown it. He's if you haven't noticed, he's already overtaken NVS as far as snaps on the field, targets. So I think in the short term right now, Monty, I would say he already is. I would agree with Dave. in the long-term future, I think he's still going to have to prove more and still fight for it. And then if he makes it through next year, through production and fighting for it and, testicular fortitude, I think then he solidifies himself. But it's kind of a yes and no question. I don't know. What do you think, Dave? That was a long, drawn-out, 7-minute answer. Sorry.
I'm going to say yes, but it's a combination of not just Lazard. I think Lazard and guys like Kumaro are wide receiver 2 combination because both of them have Rodgers' trust. They are going to be where Rodgers expects them to be. It's a combination of them. If you watch, they only had 5 catches tonight, but the thing is, with both of those two,
they were critical catches. Gotta have it moments.
Yeah, and I think 3 or 4 catches out of those total 5 together are first downs that they were moving the chains with. So
by the
way, just doesn't surprise me to see that.
Another guy, when he was making plays, my wife was cheering for and saying, I like that guy. That guy actually catches the ball. And she is not does not like players a lot. She doesn't make comments like that. So Kumaro has also made the Sarah list. I think we're going to start a new segment on the show that's called Sarah's List. Yeah. And it's going to be particular players that my wife Sarah makes comments about that she really likes, and then we're going to track those players through the weeks and see if she's right or wrong. She doesn't do that a lot. That could be an interesting case study.
Well, you know what? With that, we're going to move right into my top 3 for the defense on either players or situations. 1, red zone defense has been playing really dang good. You guys are true bend but don't break. I mean, before the middle of the fourth quarter last week in the Chargers game, into this game, you guys have held up your end, holding the team to field goals or making them go 4-and-out, especially on that game-ending drive and stopping them right there on the 1-inch line. I loved it because Preston Smith, one of the guys, that's my next guy I'm going to talk about. Preston Smith, folks, now has 10 sacks on the year. 10.
Oh, by the way, that's a career high for him. Just to say, because everybody said, oh, he's overpaid. There's a reason why the Redskins let him go, and da-da-da-da-da, and da-da-da-da. Okay. Well, you know what? I'm going to say this. If the Packers tried to go out and duplicate their offseason and who they decided to pay,
they would never do it again.
Exactly. And if other teams think they're going to try to copy it, you're chasing, we literally with this offseason, with those 4 players that we've gotten, because I don't give a shit. I'm throwing Turner in, and I'm sorry I'm interrupting you here. But that's literally finding the rainbow and then following it to the end of the freaking pot and meeting the leprechaun. It just doesn't happen. Doesn't exist.
To nail 4 players like that, and they all produce to the point where
they're worth their contract, period.
Every single game they're making an effect. The run blocking, Billy Turner is amazing at. That's one reason why he was brought in. And guess what? Run blocking in the run game helps take pressure off Rodgers. Rodgers doesn't have to do everything, folks. Boom. And then you got Preston, Zadarius Smith, and then Adrian Amos. All 3 of them had effect on the game tonight.
I'm not trying to. I'm not bragging or boasting. I'm trying to point out the fact that it is a complete anomaly. It's a complete exception to how free agency works. Literally, I can't even I'm not even saying it to nose at the people that saying, because honestly, when I stop and think about it, how can you be mad at them for saying that kind of stuff? Because that's absolutely the rule. The things they were saying and the naysayers saying this wasn't going to be worth it, you overpaid, this is bad. There's a reason. They actually had history and on their side. really
Yeah.
were the people like us that were saying, no, we think this is going to work. When you look at each individual player and then put them with this particular defense with who's already there, we really think it's going to work. It's hard to be like pissed at the people and saying they're being hot takeish because they did have history on their side and they had the rule on their side. Just to be clear, because, we like to be like that here.
Well, I am
Keep
going to
going,
sit
Dave.
there and
Sorry.
bring up number 2, who I segued into, Preston Smith. 10 sacks on the year. He was a critical part in that final play against Christian McCaffrey. He went ahead and wrapped up McCaffrey's feet so he could stop churning and getting more and farther. He pulled back on him as far as he could, even with the offensive lineman throwing McCaffrey, which, by the way, I thought that was a penalty. I thought you couldn't grab your own player and throw him.
You can push him from behind, but you cannot pull.
Dude, Van Roten literally grabbed McCaffrey
I
and
would have
literally
to go
pulled him like
back
a child.
and literally, I mean, I'm not talking
Go
about
watch.
I'm gonna have to go watch it in slow mo, which we can do because
Oh,
we have NFL Game Pass.
woo! But yeah, if you go
Woo!
watch it, you'll see the offensive lineman reaching backwards, grabbing McCaffrey and trying to throw him in because Preston Smith and Kyler Fackrell had a grip on him and wouldn't let go. That's the only reason why he got that much momentum in the first place, because his offensive lineman grabbed him and pulled him. You cannot pull. That's why I was like, wait, isn't
No,
that a
you
penalty?
can't. That is
Yeah.
definitely a penalty. You can push from behind and all that stuff, anything, but as soon as you're in front of them and you're like doing any sort of pulling motion, that's supposed to be a flag. That's a 10-yard
And
too.
3, I've got a 3A and a 3B just like I do for offense. 1, welcome back Ibrahim Campbell. Yeah, showed a little rust tonight, but guess what? He had 6 total tackles. He was where he was supposed to be. There was never him getting blown out in coverage. It's good to have him back. 2, 3B, Adrian Amos. The guy killed it tonight. I get it. He had some Olsen catches go through, but guess what? 2-point conversion attempt knocked away. Tipped interception to Tremont. Adrian Amos.
Oh, he look.
He's all over the place.
And I played DB. This is one that drives me nuts, Dave. You know this. Like it's just like, so every wide receiver catches every ball that's ever thrown to him. They never drop anything. They never stumble. They never make a mistake. Like, wide receivers are perfect and DBs are just dumbasses that can't catch. Like, it's like, I don't understand why it's perceived in so two totally different ways that it is. But it's like, yeah, defenses get beat. DBs get beat all the time. It's the really good ones that make the PBUs and the INTs and the critical tackles at critical moments. Just like I tell you, same thing with defensive linemen. Any position gets beat. That's why it's a sport. Otherwise, like, if one team's going to win, every player's going to win. Like, why do we play? We already, like, I don't, that one's kind of an asinine, like, way of thinking about it. Like, oh, yeah, I got beat on the, you know what? Their entire defense gave up quite a few plays. It just wasn't one player. Like, Kevin King's just stopped running at the beginning of the game on man coverage. Just he let a tight end just streak right across the field for a 28-yard gain. Like, that's in the beginning of my notes. Like, and yet he had 4 pass breakups on a 4th down and a 3rd down and a big 2nd down. Like, okay, like,
yeah,
it's gonna happen, people. Just saying, I'm a little sensitive. I'm a former DB running back. I love my running backs. I love my DBs. Sorry.
Well, I mean, that wraps up my positives for it. I know it went a little long, but no, I had to give the shout outs there, man. They
I will
killed it
keep
tonight.
I will keep mine pretty quick because I talked a lot during yours. So the positive for the defense, and I promise I won't give any offensive ones this time.